Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're glad you're here again to see us. We love seeing you. So let's begin with prayer, shall we? Father, Mother God, we thank you for this time together. We know that where two or more are gathered in your name, you are there among them. And we know that you are here with us and that you speak to us and through us, to those listening and to those lives that they touch. And we know that in your words of love and truth, that you are guiding them always. And we thank you for that and so much more. Amen. So I have a cool topic today. It's from the old Charles Fillmore book on prosperity. And I'm going to hold this up. You may not be able to see it, but it's in front of me, so hopefully. And I'm going to read a little bit from this chapter 6, and it's wealth of mind expresses itself in riches. And he starts by saying prosperity, according to Webster, is an abundance or advance or gain in anything good or desirable, successful progress towards or attainment of a desired object. Prosperity does not mean the same thing to two persons. To the wage earner, an increase of a few dollars in the weekly income may seem like wonderful prosperity, for it means an increase in the comfort and welfare of his family. The man who engages in vast enterprises recognizes prosperity in larger terms and does not consider himself prosperous unless things are coming to him in a big way. Between these extremes are many ideas of prosperity, which shows quite plainly that prosperity is not in the possessions of things, but in the recognition of supply, inexhaustible storehouse of all that is good or desirable. In the great mind of God, there is no doubt or no thought of lack, and such a thought has no rightful place in your mind. It is your birthright to be prosperous, regardless of who you are or where you may be. Jesus said to all men, "Seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." This does not mean that if you belong to a certain church, you will be prospered, or righteousness is not confirmed to some particular religious belief, but to the law of the right thinking, regardless of creed, dogma, or religious form. Get into the prosperity thought and you will demonstrate prosperity. There's one more chapter here. It says, we are sometimes asked whether we advocate the accumulation of riches. No, the accumulation of riches, as has been explained, is futile unless it is for the outgrowth of a rich consciousness. We advocate the accumulation rather of the rich ideas that are useful, constructive, and of service to the well-being of all mankind. The outer manifestation of riches may follow, or it may not, but the supply of every need will be forthcoming because the man of rich ideas has confidence in the all-providing power that never fails. He may not have an extra dollar, but his ideas have merit and his confidence, a combination that cannot fail to attract the money to carry him forward. I love this. I see this in my life. I mean, this goes on and on. There's a whole book on prosperity. But there is, in my mind, this is prosperity. It's the richest of ideas. And I know that getting in, like along with what Butterworth says, getting in the flow of that prosperity and that flow of abundance brings us everything else that comes to what's kind of going to come to our mind. Now, there are other people in my life who do not feel that way and are set that it's about having the money in the savings account and having this and having that and holding on to. And what I've noticed is I feel like there's this mindset that I feel like it's all there and I'm in the flow, I feel like I'm open. I feel like I see prosperity, grace, abundance in all these different areas, and they flow to me. And it's like I feel more gratitude this way. I feel more grateful about just little things. Whereas I see these other people are holding on to, this is mine and I won't let it go, and it's got to, and then it's like everything else is a bumper car bumping off of them and going the other way. And I feel so taken aback by this because I feel like if they could only just open up to this more than the numbers in a bank account. It's more than, you have to get your fair share, because we all get a share. We're all going to get it. And I feel like, I don't know, there's such a contrast when I see, and I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody that's in the middle. It's either they're one way or the other way. There may be people in New Thought, there may be people out there. So far, I haven't really run into them that either they're open and they're understanding that the prosperity and grace and abundance is flowing, or I feel like it's almost like I can see the constriction and the lack of, and I believe for a lot of my life, especially my early life, that I felt like I had to hold on because I was not going to get mine. I would not be okay. And that comes from a lot of the way I was raised. So I remember that mindset. And I don't remember when I switched the mindset, but I really seriously remember. And I remember how I felt constriction, tight, and my whole body felt like I couldn't relax and I couldn't let go because of it. So I was wondering if you guys recognize this in other people, in yourself, what it means to feel prosperity for you. Anything you have to share, a poem, whatever you have to share on prosperity and these thoughts. What do you think?
Well, I'll share. I love this topic. Thank you so much. Where do I start? There's a story about a man approaching the Buddha and asking him if he had to give up all his wealth to have spiritual enlightenment. And Buddha told him, no, it's the attachment to your wealth that you need to give up and move forward. And I feel like, wow, I'm right in the middle of that right now, giving up attachments that I've been holding on to all over the place. San Diego, our church, our friendships. I mean, just totally moving to another part of the country. I'm watching myself give up those attachments and affirming the best is yet to come. And anytime I get caught up into how will this work, I stop and think, well, it's working now and it works in every now. So when I get there, it's going to work because that's the way my life is. And that's what abundance is. You touched on something else I'm gonna talk about before I let you other ladies have a chance, is so often I hear people saying that it's not right to pray for prosperity and that loving money or wanting money is a sin. And it's amazing that that is still so prevalent in so much of society. And I'm reminded of the image of the monk living in a little cell with no possessions whatsoever to show how pious they were, and the saying that money is the root of all evil. And that's so not true. It's money is just an expression of a spiritual idea, but it's what people do with it and do to get it and to keep it that causes all the drama around it. One more thing, I thought I was done, I'm not. It was brought to my attention that if I'm doing a savings account because I want to have money in case of emergency, that's lack thinking. But if I'm having a savings account to fund my next big adventure, that's an abundance mindset. That's an abundance whatever, consciousness, there's the word. So couple little things to think of. Love the topic. And I think it's something that we are always evolving into.
Well, I'll speak on that. I think the way I heard the quote, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. It's not the money, but it's the love of it. It's the need for it. And I also liked the two different categories. The wage earners, they're very happy with a raise, and they keep working, and they're very happy that they got $1 an hour raise. And then the others, which I'm not sure where we classified them, they have to get something in a big way in order to feel that they've really prospered. Okay, they have to really hit it big, the stock market really big. And I've been around a lot of when I was running my agency, we had a lot of large donors that, thank God, that really their heart was for helping children. And some of them that, I knew what their worth were. They were so humble. They were so, could just be comfortable with coming to, our event and getting down on the floor and playing with the children. And it wasn't about the money that they had just given to the cause. It was just, that was part of them, but it did not identify them. And it's one thing that's kind of funny. In the morning, I don't watch the morning news. I don't want that come in my head, but I'm usually around 9 o'clock. I'm fussing around in the bathroom. So I turn on The Price is Right. And I've done this for years. And I just love the joy that these people express when they won something. And I once won on Let's Make a Deal, and I won the showcase. So I've been there and I know what it's like. But the joy that they get, even if it's just something little, and what they and what they say back, the gratitude that they give back for whatever their winnings were, is so happy. It's such a happy thing. And you don't know where they came from. You don't know how much money they had. And yet they're willing to gamble on something, and maybe win or maybe not. But they're so grateful for just the opportunity. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a mindset. And you can have a lot of money or not a lot, but it's how do you portray yourself? Do you identify yourself as that person? Or are you just a good person, and it just so happens that you have a big bank account and a big house? So that's what I'd like to add.
So thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. When I think about prosperity, I think it's a whole lot more than dealing with dollar signs, and it is a mindset. It's a consciousness. The saying, "The rich get richer and the poor get poorer." And it comes from that mind consciousness. And an example of that is, my sister has always struggled financially, and her, it's like she's always had this sense of lack. I can't afford this, I can't afford that, I can't afford this. And rather than like setting a little bit aside, she comes into a little bit of cash saying, well, I'll set some of this aside. So that day comes that I can afford these things. And a prime example is a year ago, I sent a $50 gift card to her son for his birthday from JCPenney's because she said he needed like new shoes or some clothes. And her comment to that was, well, what can you get for $50 from JCPenney? Well, it's that lack of appreciation of when gifts do come your way that makes the poor. It's that poor me attitude that makes you poor. Where I saw my nephew this weekend be so happy over a box of Skittles. He was so thankful and so joyous over a little box of Skittles. And, he went up and he gave his dad a big hug for paying for him to go on the Ferris wheel, and it's just, it's like that joy that comes from these things so two people making the same salary, one will be joyful because they know that, they'll put a little aside, they'll, save for their retirement, and then they'll live on what's there, tithe to their church. And the others will go out and say, I got to go spend this money right away. And so I think that prosperity comes to you through that mind consciousness of, how are you going to be a good steward of this good that God is sending to you and giving to you. And a lot of people, like Kathy, you shared some, large donors are just so humble about it. It's like not a big deal. They want to do this good. And there's other people that just really want to flaunt. They want to make it known that they've done this good. And I just find it what goes around comes around, and what you put out there consciously is what comes back to you prosperity wise. Some people don't have to make a lot of money because they find all the love they want in with being with their family and enjoying the simple things. And some of the times, and I think, Becky, you mentioned about you haven't really known people that are on both sides of it. There's times that I think I sit on that fence. There's times where it's like, okay, I need to save a little more, or, I worry about having enough, when I get older, will I have enough through my retirement? And then there's the other times that I just sort of go, things will come, that'll unfold. So I do bounce back and forth at times because I came from that consciousness of not enough. But then when I stepped into raising my consciousness as to, God will provide, and that which I need, not what I want, but what I need will be taken care of. And I go forward from that thinking and just saying, it will happen, and that, prosperity will come in whatever form that I want it to be. God will provide it to me. So so it's a great topic. Charles Fillmore was very, very, I think he really raised that whole sense of what prosperity is about. And it's not just dollar signs, it's that richness of your life and that quality of your well-being. So thank you for sharing that, Becky and Linda and Kathy. Does anybody have anything else they want to add at this point? Great, then I will pray us out. So the Spirit of God within us brings us prosperity each and every day. We can see the many blessings that come to us, and we know that we will be good stewards of those gifts and those things to help others, to bring a goodness in this world, and that we are so blessed in everything that we have in our lives, that we lift ourselves up to thee. Amen.
Amen.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us. And, if you liked what you heard, just send a like, put your comments on. Maybe if you want to join us, reach out to any of us or the church, and we do. Or if there's a topic, just write it in comments. We look forward to hearing people's input and continuing to be with us. And we look forward to the next time we get together. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments, which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.